Okay, we're back for the second hour. Man, that was great having Magnolia and her father here the first hour,
It was
wasn't
awesome, awesome.
it? What a talent. I'm telling you, and it's I just, and I wanted to say this to her here, but now that it's just the three of us in here, again, I'm Captain Hook, John Seda, and Orlando Martinez. We're all three sitting around the round table, which is actually square, but we'll call it the round table. We used to call these round
It's
table.
rectangular.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's the campfire.
It's whatever it is.
The square pegs.
Hey, this is radio. We can tell them anything.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, one of the things I wanted to tell her is not to rest on her laurels. To once she got this video behind her and this music behind her, to right away go after something else.
But wasn't that beautiful that she talked about her loyalty for her dad?
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and I thought it was really cool that he wrote a song for her
Right.
like that. What
Right.
father does that anymore?
Right, exactly. And that's it's they've been working really hard at it. Really hard at it.
And that's one of the things that we should tell the audience out there too, and to the mothers and fathers. If you think your kid has got some talent, bring them over to John over at Rising Sun Music and let's get an evaluation and see what you can do. I mean, there's a lot of parents out there that think their kids got talent and they suck. But if you really,
Hey, it's true.
it's true. I mean,
It's true. Then you got parents that don't support their kids that got talent.
Exactly.
But what's amazing is that Elena Sahara's interview. Have you did a chance to look at,
Right.
listen to it? Right. There's a part in there. Orlando, you talk because that was
She,
like Orlando's favorite part.
She says, she said, we asked her how important is music to her. She says, "This is my life, and if you can't sing, don't sing. If you
Right.
can't dance, don't dance.
Right.
Don't do those things." And it's. I laugh because I know a lot of people are going to see that and they're going to go, "Well, that's harsh." But the reality is if you can't, I'm not a singer. All right. I learned how to sing when I was in acting school, but I'm not a singer. I'm not going to give you tones like I'm John Legend.
You could improvise something.
Yeah, I can improvise something, but I'm not.
But you're not going to get up there and pull a Frank Sinatra.
Exactly.
For us.
I'm not going to be one of the Righteous Brothers. I can't pull that off. So I know my limitations. Some people don't. They'll get up like it's karaoke night, right after happy hour, and just blow out their lungs.
Yeah,
But you know what though? You can't blame them for that because it's like what they see on TV. American Idol, all these. I can't even keep the country.
X Factor.
Yeah, The Voice. Yeah, but
there's tons of them,
If you
right?
saw what people and I know personally some really great singers and musicians that have both been on The Voice and American Idol, and what you have to do to even get to that level. And if you make it past the first round, I had one friend of mine that got knocked out when he was 20. He was number 20. And so, anyway, it's just the fact is what you see on TV and what you think, and that was a great analogy, Orlando. Just because you can get up and sing on karaoke, maybe you do have some talent.
Right.
Maybe you got away with one that night. Can you do it again? And that's the thing. And right now, there is, with the indie movement going on and recording, and the internet being so viable and so easy to get your music out there, there's a lot of people out there that really think they got talent that really don't. I mean, we're looking for the real talent here.
Yeah.
It's really, really, concerning about that is that sometimes these people that don't really have this talent, I mean, they got a little bit of talent, they've got an idea. They will sometimes go out of their way to, really hurt the ones that really have talent because they want to get there. It's like kind of like, well, somebody, they meet somebody and they go like, oh yeah, I heard this person, he's really not that good,
Right, they badmouth them.
It's not cool.
Yeah, and people put it on Facebook and then start bullying the whole, process and all that sort of stuff. I think you're going to get that anywhere in life, but a lot of that comes from jealousy. But let's talk about the different degrees of talent. Okay, you might be talented enough to where you could literally make a living doing what you want to do.
Right.
But you might not be talented enough to be a superstar and have the big hit song and make a ton of money. But you might be able to make a living. There's different
Well,
levels of
it's interesting
talent.
you say that because a lot of those guys that you're talking about, I've met a lot of them because you go to a bar, you hang out, you listen to them or playing, and you get a chance to talk to them, and some of them just don't want that. They're really happy, doing what they're doing.
Right.
And that's good. Everybody has a place in life, right? Everybody, that's the, you need the bands to play. And because, what I'm getting ready to say is that, fame, that's a tough thing to deal with. Not too many people can deal with it. And even the best of our American artists, look what's happened to some of them.
Most of
They
them.
couldn't deal with it. So it's not, for those who just talk about being famous, it's a big
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a big price to pay,
They always have documentaries on artists. Like Bon Jovi had an awesome one.
I love this.
Awesome documentary where he's sitting in his hotel room and he's saying straight to the camera, a lot of you guys think this is peaches and cream. You go out on stage, you perform in front of 1,000 people, then you go back to your hotel and you're alone.
Right.
Fame used, at least to me, fame used to be a sign of how much you worked, your success.
Right.
Now today, it's your goal. It's like, are you sure that you want to have that to the point where you can't leave your house
Right.
because you're getting mobbed by fans?
And the best advice I can give to musicians out there and people who want to start a career in music is just let it see where it takes you. But you enjoy what you're doing. If
Right.
you enjoy what you're doing and you enjoy making a living out of it, be happy with that. And most musicians are. Most musicians
Right,
are.
it's true.
It's generally this new generation, and it was for us too when we had a band. Everybody, back in the 70s and 80s, everybody wanted to make it big, but that was back then when you had to warm up for another band, which we did, and get noticed and get the airplay. But right now, if you come to us here at WDBF Radio, and you can send your stuff to us at wdbfradio@gmail.com, and we'll play your music on the air. And we've had a lot of people send their stuff, and we've played it on the air, and it's been some surprisingly great
very
stuff.
good stuff. Very good stuff. I mean, there's definitely an amazing talent out there. It's not a question of a talent. I think it's a question is that it started with MySpace. When all of a sudden, the floodgates opened and everybody put their music up there, and then they would post it, and they would do all the same thing. Here's my song. Tell me what you think.
Right.
And it's like, well, there's more to that, I mean, it's hard, and because the guy that really makes music, that puts a lot of time into it, wouldn't actually use that approach. You know what I mean? And so it became like just millions of amateurs over some of the pros and semi-pros, and even some of the amateurs that would turn pro. You know what I mean? Because you start from. Here's the other thing too. For those that are out there that are listening to this, you don't start pro. You grow. I mean, it's like a flower that it blossoms out of the ground, and it keeps on growing. You keep on adding water to it,
Right.
and then finally it shoots out the roses and all that stuff. So it doesn't happen overnight. And I think what a lot of people think is that because you got these platforms, these contests and all this stuff, because now everything is a contest now. Battle of the Bands. I mean, that's been going on forever, but now they're really going way out with this. And it's all about how they can get 50, because you got to think about it from the promoter side. It's a good way to to bring revenue to a bar or to a location, and it's cool. But all of a sudden, that's all they ever do now, And so the ones that are really super talented, but they're not there yet because they're going through their hard efforts of climbing the ladder to success, right? And success doesn't mean fame, but success, being able to live right from music. They have to, be involved. They're all mixed in together. In other words, there's no ABC anymore. Like, category A, that's a category A musician, category B musician. They're all put in all together at the same time. So it's really difficult.
Right. And you might have somebody out there that's putting out a bunch of music that it maybe is not, everybody's cup of tea, but they might have one out of it that they're really good at.
Right.
And they need to build off that. instead of putting a bunch of stuff out there and thinking, okay, well, now I've got an album out and I'm this and I'm that. And a lot of these guys are like fakers, and we used to call them posers back in the days of the hair bands, and they act the part, but they're really not there. But the main thing is, if you're happy and can make a living at doing it, that's your idea of success. Then you're successful.
Right.
Don't limit yourself to being what you think is success by being at the very top of the food chain.
Right.
And because that's just an unrealistic goal, for one,
Right.
and number two, you won't be happy.
Right. And so I think it's a phase, right? Everybody, in music, let's say you grow and you have your moment under the sun. But the thing is that how long does that moment, in your opinion, is supposed to last? I mean, you got to be realistic.
Right.
And now, forget it. Now the attention span is like, years ago when I was talked to this guy from South Africa, has a very famous label. He said something to me. He says, it's so weird now that they put out and I'm talking about, there's some famous bands from this, from this company. They put out a release, sells 10,000 copies, and stops.
Right.
That's it. It just stops. And the song is incredible. We're talking about a song that sometimes you hear in movies and all this stuff,
Right.
and it just stops. I mean, it's like, and you see it happening on YouTube. You've probably done the same thing. I know I've done it before, where you go and click on a song and you go, well, you know what? Let's go listen to this other song.
Right.
So you're like, that's the surfing term, right? You're jumping from one to the other, but you're not really listening to anything complete. You're just kind of going like, I thought check out this idea from this song. Oh, wow, look at this idea from this song. So, there's not that sit down and listen thing. We used to listen to albums. Steve,
Right.
I'm talking about,
Right.
where you put on an album and you said, okay, get ready. We're going for a ride,
Right.
That's what it was like listening to Pink Floyd. You sat
Right.
down and
Exactly.
you just, after that was an experience, right? So, that part of it's missing, and so it's like a lot of this, fast things, do this. Oh, forget about the bridge because we need to get rid of that. Let's make it quicker to the point. And it's not about that. How about, why don't you just write what's on your mind? Like, Curtis Allen, when he came in here and he was singing that thing about the egg song, remember they call bacon and eggs, right? It's a story, He didn't make any shortcuts.
Right.
He was, he's going from point A to point B, but in between he's taking it, and it's like, and you see a lot of people go, well, don't forget about that part. Take that part out. Take this part out, and then it's all of a sudden, what about the creativity, And I remember Mariah Carey being criticized because she was this, amazing singer, right? This, this what I call the big singer, the big song, right? And then she was, there was this thing that came up that if you sang too good, that people in the community wouldn't like it because they thought, well, you're just a little bit too uppity. And it amazed me. I go, who would come up with this survey about, if somebody's really good, it offends somebody. And I've heard this, we have conversations where they say dumb it down.
Right.
And dumb it down is not just dumb it down lyrically. It's dumb it down like sing out of pitch, dumb it down.
Yeah.
Right.
And I've seen producers do this, they go, can you make it sound like you really don't know how to sing?
Mm-hmm.
And imagine a singer that really knows how to sing and they're going like, well, why would I do that? But they do it though. So here's their whole thing. And so I think there's a lot of stuff that, people just make up in their mind. And at the end of the day, if an artist has something to say, why don't you just listen to them? Listen to what they got to say. Listen to what they got to, what they're going to perform. And then all of a sudden everybody's a producer. Everybody's got something to say. But it doesn't take away the fact that great music is great music.
Yeah. That's it, and it should stand on its own and stand up to itself, too.
Right.
But what you said before is true. I mean, the days of sitting back and listening to an album like Pink Floyd, I think maybe Metallica is one of the last ones that has done it. I can't think of a new album that's out there now that you can sit back, turn the lights off, smoke a doob or whatever back in the day. I'm talking about, and sit back and just sit back and space out and enjoy the music, But we're coming up on another commercial break. When we come back, we've got some surprises for you. You're listening to Born a Musician on WDBFradio.com.